Hey y'all, I'm Locklith, and in today's video, I am gonna be, I'm gonna be showing off a few homes that I have built from scratch. This one being my very first Pokemon Pokopia, or Pokemon Pokopia, however you want to say it, or however I say it. I say it differently every time, so I'm saying it both ways. Anyways, this was my very first attempt at doing a home built from scratch and from blocks. And it was a good little practice run. One thing that I wasn't aware of when you build a home, regardless of its size, is you'll be able to share it with 4 other Pokemon. Well, with it having one door, several windows, and being so tiny, it got crowded very quickly, and so I need to build something just a little bit more substantial. And I did kind of another little tiny home again, but this time I did it for a Pokemon in general. I did this one for Litwick because when it rains, I feel bad for the little guy because he's like a little flame. So I built him this nice little smorgasbord of, I guess, blocks and things, doing something a little different with the kind of crates here, and yeah, using some of that plaza pathing, but that was another little practice run as well. And then way down here is what I like to call a new construction kind of pre-made home that you can have your Pokemon live in. And though this is nice, I didn't want this for myself. I definitely wanted something a little bit more unique and customized to me versus kind of a new construction pre-built home like this is. This is very large, and also there are loading screens when you have to come in here, and I need to get in and out of my house pretty quickly, so having a more home that I can just go in and out of a door without needing a loading screen, that's one for me. So didn't want to go with that type of home either, but essentially I thought I was going to build my home over there, but you do have this little area, and I wanted to gather up some materials, and this is going to take some time as well. I wanted to gather up as much as I could, kind of do a cleanup of sorts with all the blocks that I have found on the island. That way I don't have to, waste as much of my own resources and utilize the resources that they have here on the island itself. And so there's a lot of disheveled and broken down homes here that I end up destroying quite a lot of, and kind of use those materials to figure out and design my own home. And as I am kind of clearing away the space here, I quickly realized that this is where I'm going to build my home overall. So I'm going to take me a minute to do this.
1 hour later.
And there's this whole area up here that I also found. It pretty much is like a park. And there's not a whole lot that needs fixing, except for maybe some of the pathing, the fencing, and just fixing up the debris that's up here. But I'm not going to show y'all a whole lot of this because, as you can tell, I get easily distracted playing Pokopia. And it took me, I don't know, a total of 6-7 hours overall over the course of 2 recording sessions to build my home because I just kept getting distracted with other things, like finding new little shiny spots, which means that I can make new habitats for a Pokemon, or finding all of these carrots that I need to pull out of the ground. Like, there's so much to distract me that it just took me way too long to actually build something. But this is nice, like bare bones area that I ended up working together and fixing up, but just doing minor stuff, so you're not going to see much more than what you're seeing right now. So it's going to take me a second again. Be right back.
2 hours later.
And I need to essentially build the stairs that lead up to my home and my farm, because yes, I do want to build a farm as well. And that's just kind of where I begin all of that. Like I said, am utilizing a lot of the blocks that I have found, like the wooden flooring here, kind of as the stairs leading up. And I do quite a bit of terraforming in this video as well. I will speed up probably a lot of the build. In fact, this is technically a speed build video that you are witnessing, kind of like I do in Animal Crossing, but for Pokopia instead. But I won't be showing a lot of the terraforming bit because it just took some time. And just like things taking time, I did a lot of trial and error, kind of figuring out like how large I want the bridge across here to be, how many steps I will need to make it all the way down to the bottom. It's a lot of back and forth, removing, adding, removing again, redoing stuff. It's a lot. So let me just show y'all a little bit of this, and I'll come back in periodically in the video itself. Now, I am building the stairs here, and it is at this point where I realize that this bridge just seems way too low. And like I said, I end up redoing quite a bit. So I made the bridge higher up, so there's going to be more stairs, but that's okay. I just felt like it was just way too low. It didn't make sense. And gotta add more stairs here. And another safety feature that I wanted to add was the fencing along the edge. That way the Pokemon don't like fall off, or honestly, I don't fall off the bridge. So adding that here. And it is at this point where I am realizing that the bridge might be a tad too short, like not wide enough, because it's a 1x1 block walking through the two fencing areas. And I feel like I need just a little bit of wiggle room, because when you have to walk past a Pokemon, they do not care. They don't move like Animal Crossing villagers do. Like, you can't really push them. So had to widen that, and then made a bunch of stairs so it was an easy run up and down up here. And did a lot of the clear out, but still have more. And like I said, I'm not going to show y'all up there. You'll probably just see shots of that at the very end. But did a lot of the clearing over here with all of the homes that were kind of dilapidated up here. And there's quite a bit of the pathing that's already done, but I've got a lot of terraforming left to do. So let me do that and I'll be right back. All right. Back again, and as I suck up all these extra blocks, Minecraft style, I have the base, or the foundation, if you will, of my home. And I know you shouldn't build a home on just dirt. It's not a very solid foundation, at least not realistically, but this isn't real life. So yeah, here's the home itself. I kind of wanted it to be 2 rooms kind of put together with a door in between, but with walls as well. And I wanted to utilize, and this is what my plans are in my head. I don't know if I'll actually follow through, but in my head, I have the thought of, as I discover new areas, and by the way, if you didn't know, this is the very first area of the game. Yes, I have unlocked or opened several gates, but I haven't gone through them yet. I just wasn't ready yet to go through them, and I have been playing quite a bit of this offline on my own time, and so I've just been kind of staying put in the very first area and have just been demolishing everything and then rebuilding and making things just a little bit prettier before I move on. So obviously I haven't beaten the game, so I do have limited resources, limited materials. But in every new area that I discover, I want to do the same thing like I did here. I want to gather up the materials and the blocks that I kind of come across and find, and then build another home for myself in that area based on the blocks of the, I don't know what you call it, land, because you're finding like new lands and they all have different like biomes. There you go. They each have their own like little biome and their own little like quirk and things that they are based off of, and I want to utilize whatever that biome or land's specific material is, or maybe more than one, and then build a new home for myself there. Because as I move forward, I'm probably going to take my little flag with me and just kind of set up shop in the new spot and just kind of go from there. I feel like it would be a lot easier than bringing all of my items to and fro the lands. I'll bring the more specific, or the ones that I need to have with me, but I'll probably leave quite a bit of the materials behind, especially if it's materials of that land. I'll probably leave it there. So I'm gonna start with this being my very first official home based on what I have unlocked and what I have access to at the moment. But as I progress, I'll obviously unlock new things, new furniture, DIYs, all the like, and kind of work towards building a home in every space and having more and new Pokemon live with me. And the other thing that I wanted to add, and I kind of didn't have any plans as I was building this, by the way, I wanted the next room over to be one block higher. So you have to kind of run up some stairs, go through the doors, and then there's your next room. And I think it turned out really well doing it that way versus just having it all flat in one space. I wanted to make it just a little bit more creative and just a little bit different than I probably would have in other games like The Sims or something. Like I'm very set in my ways of keeping things flat almost, and I need to learn to elevate or like move upward with builds, and I'm kind of doing a little bit of that here. Maybe I'll do even more so in other areas as I progress, but definitely wanted to have the second area be kind of one level up. But I'm gonna let y'all watch me build this home. I'm going to be utilizing a lot of the different blocks of the area of the land here, and you'll see yet again that I'm going to be making some mistakes here and there. You're not going to see my character like run to my storage very much. I kind of cut those parts out just to keep it simple and clean, but you will see me make mistakes as I'm building out my home. So please enjoy that, and I will be back in a little bit. was at this moment here that I didn't like how these blocks kind of laid because of the transition of one block higher. But I do kind of run around and see how everything else looks. And I do like the exterior, but I felt like the wall in between the two rooms felt off because of how the rooms are set up. This one being higher, the other one being a tier down. So I didn't like how that looked. So again, like I mentioned, taking things away and redoing them with blocks that kind of make sense. And I wanted to add these, I don't know, they're like ancient stone blocks. I can't remember exactly what they're called, but I wanted it to kind of be like, oh, this is just a regular log cabin type of home. But then when you go inside of it, you see the color, you see the green, you see this little ancient stones here. And so that's why I wanted the interior wall to be specifically that, because you wouldn't know unless you go inside that this is even here. And I do the same thing with the ceiling tiles as well. I make it in the exact same block actually. So it's another little interesting bit where you walk in, and of course, if you know, my favorite color is green, so it just made sense to add a little bit of a teal green color of blocks inside my home that I am building. So please enjoy the rest of this home build. I don't think I will pop in until the very end bit, and then we'll get into the crops outside here after a while. And you will also see me be placing some furniture too. So it's not just building the home, but I'll also be placing furniture after a while. But be back in a little bit. All of this is looking nice, and here is the home itself, bare bones, no furniture, I mean. But I want to have a whole flower garden. I want to add furniture. I want to have crops. There's a lot of things that I actually end up adding more than what you see in this video as well. I have been playing a little bit here and there outside of creating this, but here's the interior without the furniture. Again, love that I used that ancient wall flooring and have collected quite a bit of furniture, but something I didn't realize, and I don't really show it very well, at least in this video, is that when you make a 4x4 square room and then add a door, that's what makes it a habitat for a home. I didn't realize because these are essentially two homes with a door in between. This room here is technically one habitat, and the room downstairs is another habitat. So I essentially got a good deal on a house, y'all. And I have two homes in one, and I can add double the amount of Pokemon in this space, and there's still plenty of room even with the Pokemon that I currently have living with me. Of course, we got Bulbasaur and several others that you will see, because you will see me invite them later on in the video as well. But there's plenty of room with these being two separate homes or habitats, and even with the Pokemon coming and going, there's still plenty of room for me to get around them, to get outside, and to still do my dailies and my chores and things that I like to do on the land here. So I'm gonna let y'all kind of enjoy the rest of this in terms of me putting down the furniture, and I will be back in a little bit. right, now this is the space outside where I have added some crates and some bags of, I guess, dirt or seed. And this is where we're going to have the crops, we're going to have the flowers. It's going to be very farm core over here because of course it will be. And I found some hay blocks, which did not know was a thing. And so I obviously, farm core, you got to add some hay. So adding a tower of hay here, kind of just randomly placing them like they just were found this way on their own and not keeping it too, I guess, symmetrical. And I just like all the different ways that you can find blocks in this game. It is kind of very Minecrafty, but also they just kind of have a cuteness to them. Like, look at the little tiers of hay on that one block. I think it just looks so interesting and neat, and I wanted to light up as much of the space as possible. And so I added a lot of glow lamps and glow mushroom lamps as well. And I do have some fire torches outside and some campfires and stuff, but it just rains a lot, I feel like, on this first area. So I might have to just replace those with lights that are always on because, yeah, when it rains, Charmander tries his best to keep them lit, but they eventually go out again. And the only crop, unfortunately, that I have at the moment is just are they like pea pods or green beans? No, I think they might be green beans. They're either pea pods or green beans. I actually can't remember. But those are the only crops that I have until I find some more. So yeah, this is going to be a full field of pea pod crops. I don't know. I think that's what they are. Beans? I'm pretty sure they're beans. They have to be beans, right? You think I would remember, but I truly do not. I wish I could have like carrots or tomatoes or potatoes or something. But I do have a lot of different flower types, a lot of different bushes as well. And yeah, just unfortunately all I have are these little bean seeds. Okay, they are beans, so it's like green beans. Okay, I see you, game. I see you. It does help if you have like a Bulbasaur or an Ivysaur or a Squirtle here near a crop area, because then Bulbasaur will make the beans grow faster, and then Squirtle can keep them wet as well. Ew, I don't like how I said that. Squirtle can water the crops as well, but like I said, it rains a lot here, so I don't think that's really necessary. And then I didn't want to have just crops. I wanted to have some flower areas as well. So I wanted to add a little area here for some flowers, and then I had some bushes over to the side with a tree that will grow in. You won't unfortunately see any of these fully grown in this video. I did not time travel. In fact, I am always on real time when I play the game, which is kind of sad because I don't get to really see how the game looks during the daytime, because by the time I get home, it's like dark out, and then all it does is rain. It just feels kind of gloomy. So I am excited to move on to new spaces and new areas. But for now, I'm just staying in real time, and don't say, you could always time travel. Like, I know I could, and I did it once. I did do it one time because I wanted to see, I wanted to play during the day. But when I tried doing that, my game almost broke. It would load up the game. You would see the UI on the screen of picking through cut, water gun, and the grass thing. But everything else on the screen was pitch black. There was nothing. It was just black screen. So it was on, and clearly I was in the game, but nothing was showing up except for that UI circle at the bottom right. And that was quite annoying. So I did not time travel since then, turned it back to real time, and haven't gone back since. So I'm just scared I'm going to lose everything that I've worked on if I end up breaking something forever. I don't want to have to restart. That would be so sad, but also, I don't know. I've put a lot of hours in the designing of this. I'm sure there are plenty of others that are putting in a lot more work and just really designing. Like, I have seen some immaculate, wild, like crazy builds that people have done in this game, and not long after the game came out even. Oh my god, y'all, I saw Lugia as I was running around the island gathering stuff, so I wanted to keep that part in, but that was just so magical. Yeah. And here is me inviting all of the Pokemon that I want to have. So I wanted to have Drifloon so I could have them close by for visiting Dream Islands. I, of course, wanted Bulbasaur because he is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. He's got to be my roommate. Squirtle, again, good to have around for the crops, but also one of the starter Pokemon. I wanted to keep him around. And you can't leave out Charmander, which, let me know in the comments below, which starter type did you go with? I always went with the fire type, even if Bulbasaur is my favorite. Oh my god, we're here at the end. Hi, how are you? So Bulbasaur did all of this. He actually grew the flowers in the background, and he made some of these bean sprouts kind of come up, and so they're all sparkly and magical. I do wish it wasn't raining, but here we are. I am so happy with how this turned out. I'll show y'all some pretty much little clips here and there of everything overall, including the part up top that I didn't show putting together. Please enjoy the screenshots at the end here, and I'll see y'all at the very end. But that is pretty much it, and I hope y'all enjoyed this. Like I said, it took me several hours across 2 recording sessions to put this all together, but I basically locked in 2 different occasions and decided to design myself some crops, some flowers, and a big home. So let me know in the comments, again, what starter would you choose and what starter do you go with in the Pokemon games? And I appreciate y'all so much, and thank you so much for watching.